Afternoon. Thanks for attending the monthly Oracle Integration Partner Community webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress, part of the product management team. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available at Oracle Video Hub, including presentation for download. For details, please see our monthly community webcast. In today's webinar, it's the third edition of an Oracle Integration Best Practice series by Anthony Reynolds. We will discuss Oracle projects. Welcome to the call, Anthony.
Thank you, Jürgen. Glad to be back and share some more best practices with you.
So what have you done in the previous editions?
So in the previous editions, we've talked about what you should do when you set up your Oracle integration instance. What are the things like setting up the logging, setting up object storage for backup. We also talked about securing an Oracle integration instance last month when we looked into using different private endpoints to control our egress traffic and our ingress traffic via custom endpoints and load balancers and API gateways, and how to configure an extremely secure financial grade security. And this week we're going to talk about projects, why you should be using them, and how you can get from your individual integrations into a project world.
So what is Oracle projects as part of integration?
So projects are best thought of as the organizing principle for everything that we do now in Oracle integration. Every new feature will appear within a project, and a project is scoped so you can restrict access to it. It gives you an easy way to add access controls through an API gateway. And it is the best way to take advantage of all the AI features that we've added into Oracle integration over the last 12 months.
Excellent. So let's get started. So Oracle integration offers certified adapters to connect SaaS like HCM, CX, and ERP. And objective of today's call is to build better integrations and utilize new functionality based on Oracle projects. Please pay attention to the Oracle Safe Harbor statement. Please blog and tweet about services and functionality which is available today. Quick housekeeping, please feel free to post your questions via the conference Q&A tool. At the end of the webcast, we will answer them. And with us is also Subani. He will help us with the Q&A. Welcome to the call, Subani.
Thank you, Argun.
Slides will be available at the Oracle Video Hub channel and at the community website. Please share your feedback via the Zoom survey at the end of the webcast. For today's agenda, I will kick off with some quick announcements and then hand over to Anthony to allow as much as possible time for Oracle projects. Like Anthony highlighted, it's a series of 3 webcasts. If you missed one of them, I can encourage you to watch the on-demand version. They're all available at Oracle Video Hub. Also available at Oracle Video Hub is our last product update webcast with a fantastic strategic overview from Greg Pavlik and a live demo from Nathan. So make sure that you take a look at the agentic AI features which we are rolling out today. If you want to try agentic AI yourself, we will have some more hands-on trainings for you as a partner in May. So please register for the webcasts. They're available in 2 different time zones, North America and in South America. In case your customers are interested to build a proof concept together with you as a partner, please nominate the customer in the early adopter program. There we will reach out to you and the customer to build a joint proof of concept to promote the success, and it's available for agentic AI, for RPA, and for B2B. All information is published in the monthly community newsletter. If you didn't receive the February edition, please subscribe. There you find all the technical details, upcoming events, and trainings. And you get also access to our community website where you can find more information. Today's webcast is recorded and will be available on demand, including presentation slides for download at Oracle Video Hub. With that short introduction, over to you, Anthony.
Thank you. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be continuing our best practice series. And today we're going to be talking about how to adopt projects within Oracle integration. But first of all, a reminder that Oracle integration is a unified platform. The thing that makes Oracle integration a unified platform is that within the project, we have lots of different ways to connect to systems through traditional integrations, through RPA, through agentic AI. It allows you then to collaborate. Different skill sets can work together in the same project. We provide observability and governance, and compliance can be checked against the project itself. Within Oracle integration, we can also build the actionable insights and the pragmatic AI that you need to succeed in a changing marketplace. So key for us is that our AI strategies are tightly coupled into everything else that we do within Oracle integration. We continue to connect apps, continue to provide you trusted data and an intelligent automation platform, and we extend it with AI capabilities. So AI doesn't replace what you already know, it enhances it and increases your capabilities. So what we're going to do is a very short agenda today. We're going to start off with why do we want to talk about projects? Why is it important? And then after that, we'll look at how can you actually move to projects, and we'll answer one of the questions that I just saw flash by in the Q&A around, well, do I have to move to projects? And I hope at the end of this, you will know the answer without having to be told. But let's see how we go on. First of all, why is Oracle pushing projects in Oracle integration? What's so great about it? Okay, so let's start off then by comparing a package and a project. In Oracle integration prior to OIC 3, we only had the package, and the package allows you to associate integrations with it. You could deploy a package as a single unit, activate a package, deactivate a package. But an integration could only be a member of one package, and only integrations were part of the package. Let's compare that to a project. So within a project, we can have integrations, AI agents, robots, decisions, B2B, healthcare, and not just the integrations themselves, but all the components within there. So let's go and actually look at an instance. So if we go and look at a package, I've got a package here. I can go and look at it and see it's got one active integration, two inactive integrations. No indication as to what connections it might have, any libraries it's using. And so I'm limited then into what I can do with this package. I can export it. If I export it, it lets me write it to a file. Similarly, I can delete it. So there's, not too much that you can do within the package itself. Let's go and compare that to a project. So let's go and, okay, all right, well, we'll go into this project. So we can see here, we've got integrations. Great, we had integrations in a package. We also have connections. We can see all the connections and they're scoped to the project. There's other things we can have, lookups and libraries and events, and also FIFO queues. That comes with the healthcare edition. But it's not just integrations that can be in a project. We can have AI agents. Okay, we've got one tool in here. I haven't set up the rest of the AI infrastructure, but I've taken one of my integrations and said, I want this to be in a tool within a model context protocol server. I can have robots to use RPA. I can have decision services to have conditional logic within OIC that is easier to manage and maintain because it's externalized. We support all the healthcare messaging formats and protocols within OIC Healthcare Edition. And again, those are available in a project along with B2B. Now, some of these features like B2B, you and the event you would have seen at the global level as well. But within the project, we get extra benefits from them in that we can limit who accesses them. So we have little share here. We can decide, I'm mean, I don't let anybody access, but if I wanted to, I can see Nathan's on the call, and so that he doesn't feel sad, I can add him as a user here. Equally, I can add groups. So I could add okay, I can't remember the names of the groups, but if you start typing them, it will fill them in for you. And so this limits who can edit, who can view within a particular project. So let's go back to our deck. As you can see, there's an awful lot more to a project than there is in a package. So the first reason why you might want to use projects is all new OIC features are part of a project. And those features are generally not available in the global namespace at the top level. And so RPA, for example, is only available within the project. The separate decision service only within the project. The AI agents and the AI copilot to help you build your own integrations only available in the project. There's some additional things is, well, what can you do in a package? Well, a package is really just an attribute of the integration, whereas a project is a first-class citizen. So we can reason about projects, we can deploy them to a file or a repository. So we can push them into the file system, or we can push them into GitHub. A package, you deploy all the integrations in the package. When you deploy to a file, you have no choice. In a project, we have the concept of a deployment. So within a deployment, if we go back to our project here, we can see I've got one deployment here that's got 3 specific integrations in it. And I've got the specific versions of those integrations as well. So one of these has, okay. All right, I managed to pick ones that don't have revisions in them. But equally, I could add this one in as a version 3. And if they'd got minor versions, you would see those as well. So that allows us to choose what we want to promote from development to test to production. Much more control than you get with the all or nothing in a package. So if we go back here, oops. So much for it. We also have the ability, we also have all the AI assistance is only available within the project. That covers things such as building an integration, documenting integrations that have already been created, assistance with using crafting SQL queries. There's so many different areas that we keep adding AI assistance to, and those are only available to you in the project. And similarly, we looked briefly at the AI and saw that we'd added the tools for the MCP server. Again, each project is its own MCP server. And so let's look at that. Let's discard those changes. So if we go into the settings, we can see that this project has enabled itself as an MCP server. Well, actually, I enabled it, but this allows us to choose which integrations will be exposed as tools. We saw that earlier in the AI section. And it also allows us to say, yes, this project is an MCP server. And so any integrations in here, I can choose which ones are tools. And that's going to be important over the coming months as we enhance the agentic AI capabilities. The project will continue to serve as the focus area for AI enablement within Oracle integration. We also have observability in projects. So when we look at the global space, we see everything at once. Within a project, we see only the integrations that are within that project. And so everything is scoped. So let's go and look at that in here. In the observability, we can see here we've got a view. Instead of having 300 integrations listed here, we've just got the integrations in this project. Similarly, instead of having 20,000 integrations that have run in the last few hours, we've only got the integrations that are run in the project. And if you notice here, it's showing unknown. If you scroll down, it will start filling in that graph. We're hoping to automatically fill that graph in a later release. So we can also see any connections we have in the healthcare space, any FIFO queues, subscriptions, future runs for scheduled jobs, and we can also see here the audit. So we can see that a little bit earlier, I created a connection. We can see that the project was unlocked, updated, locked. So we can see who did that, again, at the project level. So lots of visibility in projects about what you can see. We can go and look at all the different components. And again, we'd see the agent instances if we were using agentic agents. We'd see the robot instances and the status of their environment pools. All of this is part of the observability of project. So the first thing is, well, why would I want to move to project? It's got a heck of a lot of new features. It is where all our new capabilities are going to be found. And most importantly, it gives you a better experience, better observability, better control. You can have separate development teams isolated from each other. So lots of things that you can't do at the package level. So let's talk about, great, Anthony, you've sold me that projects are wonderful. I've got 600 integrations in the global namespace spread across 30 or 40 different packages. How on earth do I move to projects? Okay, I'm glad you asked that. So let's take this in a number of phases. And let's begin by exploring, okay, what's the first thing that we have to do to move from a package world to a project world? And we're going to focus on converting packages to projects and the steps you can take to ensure a seamless move from your integrations running in packages or completely standalone to your integrations being embedded in projects. So let's go and have a look. So first of all, we want to convert a package to a project. So let's go and look at what that involves. Let's go up here to the packages. I have a package here miraculously available. We can say create a project from this package. So we're going to call this package Y Webcast. There we go. So you can name it, the project, whatever you want. In this case, Webcast. We can control the editing, control the access as well. So at this point, I'm saying anyone can edit, view, and monitor. So I'm going to create that. Okay, looks like it's already gone away and created it. So there, if we go back to the package, remember it had one active and two inactive integrations. Let's now go back to the project Webcast. We can see that it's got those three integrations. It also has brought across the connections. It would have brought in any lookups and libraries that we were using as well. So it's created a copy of your integrations. It has not changed the existing integrations. We can still run those. We can still execute them. So let's go back. So we've done the first step, converted a package to a project. Next step, configure the connections. Currently, when we do the copy, we do not copy the credentials. So I'd have to go in here, for example, and say, okay, this is a REST API, URL for this one. Something like that. And then we could put in OAuth credentials and go away and test everything. And in the interests of time, I won't go through and configure the whole thing, but we'll save what we've got for now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for telling me who's going to be impacted. Okay, so we've started configuring that endpoint there that we called self. So let's go back. So we then configure the connections in the project. At this point, any changes we make to the connections in the project have no impact on the integration in the global space. Next thing to do is to create a deployment of the integrations that we actually want to activate. So let's go and create a new deployment. Initial activation. Okay, that looks good. We could go in and choose an older version if we wanted to, but the 2.0 version looks good. And if we wanted to, we could also activate the version 1. We're going to leave it as say, no, we only want version 2 at this point. So why do we want the deployment? Because the deployment allows us to activate all the integrations in the deployment with a single click. So if you've got a package with 10 active integrations, you would choose those same 10 active integrations and their correct version in this deployment so that you're ready to start activating the environment. Okay, so then our next step is also as part of this is we want to create some global integrations that forward to the project. And so to explain this, let's have a look, first of all, at our package. So if we go into our package, we see that we've got one integration there, head information version 2.0. Okay, let's go go to our integrations, head information version 2.0. Oops. Close that out. We can see that that's the only active one. If I were to go in here and say run this, okay, I don't want you to recurse. But when we look at the run here, we notice that integration, V1, flows, REST. Here's the name of the integration. So it's after the REST, it's head information, the version, and then any additional URL or headers that are part of the integration. So let's now go and compare that to a project I converted earlier. So here's a project. We can see if we go in here and do run. So the first part, APIs flows REST, is the same. The integration name and version are the same. The parameters afterwards would be the same, but we've added these two extra items in the path. So this is how we're able to keep the projects separate from each other and avoid namespace collisions between the integrations. Now, the good thing about this is that we've isolated ourselves. The bad thing about this is we might have 200 or 300 client applications calling integration, and they are not using this URL. They're using the REST head information one, not the REST project name head information URL. So that is why we want to create a global integration that forwards to project. And so let's quickly look at how you might do that. So we go up, we go into our integrations. And so what we want to do is create a new version of this integration. So let's say create new version. Okay, change that to 3. So we've created version 203. So this at the moment is exactly the same as the previous integration that we had. So what we can do is we want to make this integration will have the same endpoint as the current global one if we activate it. And at the moment, it will do exactly the same. So the first thing we're going to do is delete all the content inside that integration. So now we've preserved the trigger. So we've still got the same request and response. And then what we're going to do is you need to set up a connection back to the OIC instance. So we're going to use this connection to create an invoke. And what that invoke will do is it will call rather than go through, let's actually just show you this. So we're going to put in, it's going to use a call to this same integration service. We're going to put the path in, but notice we're now got the project as part of this path that we're calling. So the integration that's we're creating here has the path /rest/ integration name, the head information. We're going to insert the project and package in our invoke so that we're calling the project version of this integration. We need to set it up. It has parameters. So let's go through and do that. What do you want to call this? Oh, call me. There we go. So then we can go in, add the same parameter we had before. Equally, you could set this up from an open API spec, which would probably be quicker and easier. But for now, we'll continue doing it this way, and then in the drag and drop. Oops. That is not the response. Okay. So there, we've set the response up, and now it will automatically generate the invoke for us. And a little trick that you can do when we come in here, you'll notice that query parameters are the same. So in this case, we can just map them one to one. It's not difficult. And we can validate that. We can also, this one didn't have a response, so let me add a map in here. Things you can do on the response is you can say, create the target node, go into XSLT mode, and if we scroll down here to the output of the XSLT constructors, there's a copy of. So I go and drop that on the response wrapper there. We have a look at the call me response. It's got a response wrapper, and you're going, oh, I don't really want to map all of these parameters. It's deep, it's complicated, it looks really difficult to do. So I just pull that across, and that will generate an exact copy of the response wrapper that came from the project version of the integration into the global package version of the integration. So basically, I'm just doing a redirect here that now when this integration is activated and it gets requests come in, it will automatically call the project version of the integration. So that's why we want to create these global integrations, because the URL changes, we don't want to change our client. So at this point, we've done nothing that impacts a running integration. So we've converted the package to the project, we've configured the connection, we've created the deployment, but we haven't activated it yet. And then we've created the global integrations that forward to project. And this is where we do the invoke of the equivalent project version of the integration. So now we're underway. Construction is starting on our project. Let's see what's next. Now we want to activate the project. So when we do this, the first thing we should do is deactivate the global pollers and any external event-driven applications, such as things listening to Fusion app events or Salesforce or ServiceNow events, because we don't want to receive the same event twice. Once we've deactivated the global pollers and event-driven apps, we can then activate our deployment. And then we can activate the new global integration revision. So let's talk through what that actually means. Why do we want to deactivate global pollers and event flows? By pollers, I mean things like query the database every 30 seconds to look for new records. Look to see if there's a file in this file location. And for the event flows, it's, hey, I want to subscribe to the new order event in Fusion apps. Now, when Oracle Integration subscribes to external events, we connect to that system and configure it to send us the event flows. Now, the trouble is with both polling and the event flows, we don't want to receive the same message twice. And so that's why we have to deactivate the global ones first. Otherwise, when we activate the ones in the project, they'll start polling against the database, and it's possible that we'll pick up the same records twice. Similarly, any event flows, that new order event that we subscribe to, we will now receive it in the project version of the integration and the global version. It's probably a bad thing to get the same message twice and process it twice. So we will deactivate those flows that will cause problems, and then we activate our deployment. That deployment will activate all the integrations we wanted. That means that the pollers and the event-driven integrations are now executing in the context of the project and not in the global space. That leaves us with the global integration revision, the new global integrations that we created that basically forward the request to the integrations in project. The reason we want to do this is, remember, we have hundreds of clients potentially. We don't want to have to go and change them all at the exact same time to use a new URL. So, and equally, we don't want to have some clients calling the integration in the global namespace and other clients calling it in the project namespace. The problem with doing that is that if you make changes in the project version of the integration, you have to remember to also make the same changes in the global. That's not sensible. So what we'll do is we have this global integration that forwards to the project version of the integration. So all those clients don't need to be changed on day one. But all the integrations doing the work are actually now in the project. If we make a change to the project integration, well, a client that calls the global one will then automatically have that call forwarded to the project version. And so only the project version of the integration is actually doing the work. So now construction is underway, all our events and pollers are running, and we're forwarding all the people calling our global integrations to the project version. So we are almost there. What are our last steps? Okay, we now need to go through and change the client endpoints. In some cases, this will be easy. You'll only have a few of them. And many customers have very heavy file processing and very light on dynamic execution of integrations. Those have a very easy job. They've got a few clients to change it. They can probably do it in a few days. Other customers, I know one customer has 3,000 salespeople, each with a spreadsheet with some clever Visual Basic code inside it that at the end of the week uploads all their opportunities into Oracle integration. Now, being able to go through to those 3,000 employees and change all those Excel spreadsheets at the same time is not really feasible. So we can do it at our leisure. And then when we notice that, yes, we think we've caught all the clients, we can deactivate the remaining package integrations and then delete the package and any unused global connections and other resources like libraries and lookups. So because we've changed the client endpoints, when we come to deactivate, the first thing we should do is make sure that those integrations in the package are not executing. And so I'd suggest that you check at least a week to make sure that you've caught all the client endpoints and changed them. Remember, though, the client endpoint change can be done at your pace without, but you are now fully in a project development mode. When you're ready, you can deactivate them when there's no activity, reduces the number of activations, also avoids clutter in the monitoring dashboards. You can then delete the package and the unused global connections. Again, this reduces some of the clutter in the design time space, which you should not be using anymore anyway. And, the objective should be to have no integrations in the global namespace. At that point, job done. Well done. Congratulations. You have migrated your package to a project. Now, there's nothing to stop you doing multiple projects at once, but I hope you can see that as we've gone through the steps here, we have managed to do it in a way that did not impact our clients or our operations in any way. We were able to reliably and safely convert from a package to a project. And some key takeaways to remember. Why did we go through that? Because we wanted to bring extra functionality. Copilot, agentic AI, RPA, decisions, deployments, repository support. It goes on and on, the list of features that are only available in the project. We've looked and proved that we can move to projects in a safe and controlled fashion. The steps are pretty simple, and we are working on some enhancements to make those steps easier. There's no need for a big bang implementation. You can adopt projects at your own speed. And move into projects, future-proofs your environment. All new features will be project only. And so using projects will enable you to more easily connect the apps and data that you need, automate the processes, and best of all our AI features are available in projects for you to innovate with AI. Thank you for joining, and I'll hand back to Jürgen at this point.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for the wonderful presentation and demo. So everybody should move now to projects to make use of the new features. And we have our product management team here on the call, which is responsible for those features. So I would like to give Sandhya the opportunity to give us a 1-minute pitch. What is RPA and what new features are available within Projects RPA? Sandhya?
Hey, yeah, thanks, Jürgen. So RPA, like Anthony mentioned, is a native capability within projects. So you have any manual repetitive steps in your business process, and today, due to the lack of support earlier on, you went into other ways of solving that problem. Today, we have native RPA capability within Oracle integration, so you can build and manage robots and orchestrate it as part of your larger business integration that you've already built. Another important feature that we are introducing with RPA is auto scale feature. You do not have to manage your robot agents anymore. So your admin's operational overhead is taken away. Robot agents will scale based on workloads. So these are some of the key features that are coming in for RPA, and to leverage all of them, you need to be on projects. Thanks, Jürgen.
Thank you very much. And we would like to give Veron the opportunity to talk about B2B.
Part of global space, but of course, as we've enhanced more and more features on B2B side, those are all being delivered in projects. First and foremost, I think the whole offering of projects brings much more control over how you organize things, and especially with the sharing and role-based access, I think that gives much more flexibility in terms of implementing your B2B projects as well. Along with that, the AI onboarding of trading partners, and then there are multiple new capabilities in terms of protocols and document types which have been added, which are also project specific. So hopefully with all of this, you should be able to move your B2B workloads as well and use the project capabilities to its fullest in your implementations.
Thank you. And Kishore, what is available in Agentic AI?
Yeah, so thanks for the great presentation, Anthony. So it kind of sets the context for all the different kind of data actions that you do in OIC. right? So so for agentic AI, building agents, right? So in OIC, uh, moving your integrations from global space to projects will allow you to create agents really quick by virtue of creating tools. So the tools can be discovered from the integrations which are in the project or shared as part of the project. So that will uh, uncover from you to create new agents and create these tools.
Excellent, thank you. So if you want to learn more about RPA, agentic AI, or B2B, please join the Early Adopter program, the Accelerate program. You can find that under the resource link. For more information, for regular updates, please register for the community newsletter. Then you get the invite for today's webcast and the newsletter and all the upcoming hands-on trainings. For more information, please visit the Oracle integration blog and the documentation. As part of the documentation, we offer some live labs, which you can use with a free trial to get a hands-on training. With that, I would like to come to the Q&A session. First question is from Lakshmi, sorry for the wrong pronunciation. When we create a project from package to endpoint URL change, can we do this conversation without changing the endpoint URL?
To which the answer is no. And for the reason I explained, that we need to keep the project namespaces separate so that integrations with the same name in different projects don't have a clash. But I showed in the demo a manual way of forwarding to the connections, and as was it Subani, I think, mentioned that we are looking at a number of ways to improve that experience beyond the manual that we demonstrated here.
Okay. Then there was the question regarding business activity monitoring. Can you include business activity monitoring in a project? And Kishore, I think you answered that question. Kishore, are you still with us? No. So to answer it, no, Ravi Pinto did. Ravi, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, Jürgen.
There he is.
For the benefit of all, what can you do regarding business activity monitoring and what's the new technology?
So business activity monitoring is part of SOA Suite stack, and that does not really work with OIC. I have shared a link from blogs.oracle.com/integration that talks about how you could use the OIC log analytics for a similar capability. So I encourage the users to try that out, and then for similar feature, but similar functionality, but not necessarily the same functionality.
But same use case, yeah. Okay, Anthony, you had the opportunity to browse through the questions. Which ones do you
Yes,
like
there
to
was
highlight?
one question about how do I move an integration from one project to another. If I share my screen, I can give you a quick demo of that.
Yep.
So here I am in a project. I can copy an integration. In this case, I'm choosing it from, okay, really? Okay. I didn't share these integrations. You can only copy integrations that are shared, but also you can copy individual integrations from the global space as well. So if you've said I share the integration, you can pull it from another project. If you say that I want it from the global, you can do that as well. So yes, it's the copy an integration feature. So that was a question that was asked, and I don't think it quite captured the answer the way we wanted it to. So I scan. There was a question about same connection used in multiple integrations. This is my bad, Kuldeep. I did mean to mention this. Let's go back to the project we created. And OIC South, I'm a lazy person, so what I'm going to do is I see that actually I've already got a connection to South in a project I called Shared Connections. And so I'm going to choose that. And so you can share connections across projects. It's an explicit option that you have. And so, for example, if I go in here, the edit info, that's now grayed out because this particular connection has been overwritten by a shared one. But if I were to remove the share as easily as that, you'd see that I could then go in here and say, hey, this connection's available for use in other projects.
Anthony, I had a follow-up question on this. That was posted a couple of times. So there's deploying projects without integration and only shared connections is not possible. Is there a solution?
No, and there's not at the moment, because when you deploy, deployments only have integrations. So what you could do, though, is you could export and import the whole project, which should take the connections with you. So a project, if you export the project rather than the deployment, the connection should still be there. Need to check that. I've never actually verified that that's the case. So I'm not sure.
So typically that happens when you have a project with only shared connections, right?
Yeah.
Some people want to deploy that project.
Okay, so I have my shared connections project here, no integrations. Oops, let's go. Shared connections. So I can export it still to either a repository or I'll export it to a file.
Yeah, we can export and import it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that, you just export the whole project and it would, if it didn't have integrations, you couldn't use deployments, but you'd still be able to export the shared project.
Yes.
So yeah, so there's no need for dummy integrations or anything within it.
Cool, Anthony, thank you very much. Thank you for the whole team for the wonderful support and answering the questions. If you have further questions, you can reach out to Neil in EMEA, Paulo in South America, Ravi, who's on the call for North America, Ravi for Asia and India, and Stephen Tindall or myself. So thank you for that, and make use of the resources. There's plenty of material on the resource page for customers and partners organized, so please use it. The next webcast will take place March 31st, and we will update you on how to consolidate Oracle integration workload, how to consolidate third-party application servers into Oracle and to achieve ROI. Thank you very much for attending, and once you leave, please complete the online survey. Thank you.
Yeah.